All right. Thank you for your patience. We are officially... Eric, there we go. All right, we are officially live, so there is no cameras in the room, but there is a live speaker in the room. Probably won't pick up too much out there. But once again, if you are just coming here, QR code to get you registered, to get that part of the season going. I did talk with Nate Newhouse today, and he knew we were coming together. He's like, what are we doing at Millard South today? So I sort of told him what we were doing, and he goes, that's pretty cool. But what this whole thing is for, NSAA is sort of changing their observation process. Those of you who have been with us quite a long time, you sort of know how we do our observation process. And so I want to share everything, what NSAA standards are, but take it to the next level. Because I want varsity officials who want to work late in the postseason, I want you to have the access to do that. Okay? Because really, at the end of the day, there's really three types of officials working high school football. There's officials who register and want to hang out with their friends, which is awesome. Right? Then there's officials who register, try to get better, and be the best high school officials they can be and work a state championship, which is awesome. And then there's a smaller group, football officials, who use high school football to advance to college football, to advance to Division I football, which is awesome as well. All right? NSA does a great job of hitting all three. All right? I really try to focus on the next two. I hope everyone here wants to work playoffs. I hope a crew has goals of semifinal championship game. And if there are people here that want to work college, you have access to it. All right, so the first thing is NSA registration. Deadlines today. Is anybody in this room that is not registered to work varsity football right now? All right, deadlines today. Today. There's a fee tomorrow. All right, why do we have to put fees on people who are late for registering? Anyone know? All right, you know how many officials will register August 27th and be like, hey, where's my rule book? Where's my case book? Where's my manual? All right, so we're laughing, but you register late, other people have to do manpower on top of their next job that they have to do in their job. All right, so please register by today so Nate and all the other office workers don't have to do old work on top of the new work that they have to complete. All right, so Nate did not ask me to say that, but I told Nate I am saying this. All right, so July 31st, new officials, lucky you, August 15th. Okay, all right, so I don't think we have any new officials here. We'll cover that in future practices. Online rules meeting, currently free till August 20th. It does have audio. It is all one straight video. And wait until the end, put your name, verify. Right now, Nate said there is 640 football officials who have registered. Today's the deadline. Last year we had 847 varsity officials. All right, so that is how many officials who registered last year have not registered, and today's the deadline. All right, out of the 600 who are registered, there's only 60 that have watched the video and taken the test. Guilty. I have not taken the test. All right, I'm going to take the test next Wednesday, August 6th, during our practice. All right, so we're not so worried about who has not watched the video and taken the test. We are worried about the ones that have not re-registered. And then Part 2 test, August 23rd to 27th. It is not a requirement to work varsity postseason, but I will tell you if a varsity crew has all 5 officials on their crew that have taken that Part 2 test, it looks a lot better than a crew that only has 1. All right, so positive communication there with NSAA. All right, varsity crews. I tried to make this as large as I could. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I did have some questions. Nobody here is from Will Curtis's crew, is there? All right, I know he's doing national softball, so I still have to get with him. Referees in the room, are there any mistakes that you see? Dick, do you have, I know you have Tyson Bodlick and Rob. Are you going week to week on those two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach Osborne is filling in quite a bit.
Okay.
Tanner Jorgen is filling in.
Okay. So,
And Joel Wolflager.
perfect. So just stay in touch with me as the season goes. And there was one new change, Mark Olferts and Rod. So Rod, you are the referee, by the way. Okay, found that back out.
Volunteered on the way here. I was voluntold.
Okay, so,
Maybe change the spelling on the name.
oh, sorry. All right, so you are going to go back up there, and then there's going to be a TBA on your crew. Okay? Cool. All right, varsity, when I say crew openings, we are looking for a crew of 5. All right, so I'm not sure if anybody is out there, they have open weeks. All right, so for Calhoun scrimmage, if you want to email me or text me that your crew wants to work, all right, Jason Ford, you're in. All right, Jason Ford, so that is gone. All right, August 20th, text me so I don't forget to put it in. Definitely not while I'm driving home, though. August 29th, September 5th, October 3rd, October 10th. All right, so if I don't have current crews right now in the state of Nebraska that have open weeks, Cliff Shelton's in the house again. Literally, I plan on putting a crew together, and they will be working August 29th, September 5th, October 3rd, October 10th, together as a brand new crew. So I have 4 games for a brand new crew, unless somebody out there has an open week, week 1, week 2, I want to say this is 7, and then that's week 6. 1, 2, 7, and 6. Varsity subs. So this is, we have a crew assigned, but 1 or 2 officials from that crew either cannot work that Friday or there's a conflict, so we're moving officials around. All right, so this is where if you don't have a crew and you want to work varsity football, August 29th, September 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, 3, 10, 17. Guess what? That's all 8 weeks, 8 of the 9 weeks. All right, so you literally, if you don't have varsity games right now, you literally have the ability to work umpire, linesman, line judge, back judge, 8 weeks for varsity football. Okay, so how are we going to assign that? How are we going to fill these spots? Number 1, if you are interested, all right, email myself, PSOA@premiersportsofficials.com. We have varsity tryouts on field with live snaps August 10th. I do not have the schedule yet, but whenever the 8th grade teams are playing, that's when we're going to do 5-person crew. Whenever the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade is playing, we're going to do 3-person crew for new officials to get 3-person experience. And then whenever the 5th, 6th, and 7th grade teams are playing, we're going to go 4-person crew to get officials 4-person experience for sub-varsity. So a lot of movement. So varsity tryouts, and then August 11th, I plan on filling the remainder 89 varsity openings that we have. So right now we have 89 openings between full crews and subs. And throughout the year, people get injured, work commitments come up. We had a day of, where's Carl? Carl, day of, literally could not leave work. He just couldn't leave work. So the more varsity officials we have, a lot easier it is to help out the rest of the team. So again, if you don't have varsity games now, there's stuff that happens. All right, our expectations are pretty simple, okay? Number 1, crew chiefs confirm with schools. We talked about this yesterday. Only one time out of our 143 games last year, we had the crew show up at the wrong field because it was a high school with they played on 2 different fields, a co-op school. So referees, crew chiefs, all right, please confirm school, date, time, location. Referees, you set your crew expectations. Right? I rely on the referees to set the crew expectations. Everybody on that crew, follow the referee's lead. Right? I meet with referees quite a bit. I talk with referees quite a bit. They are our eyes and ears for the association. Trust your referees. They are asking you to do things that Nate has told me, hey, your crews need to do this. So it's like a trickle-down effect. All right, so please listen to your referees. They know what your crew has to do to be successful. Arrive on site 60 minutes prior, watch weekly training tapes, daily shorts, answer daily rules questions. That's it. Those are our PSOA expectations to continue working varsity with us. All right, so I have not seen the final form, but if you go back to old observations forms from the NSAA, it's a checklist, all right? It's literally, is the referee doing the coin toss at the 50-yard line? Is the line judge standing in the right spot in punts? Is the back judge standing in the right spot in free kicks? It's literally a checklist. Yes, 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 yes. All right? And a lot of the feedback we have, how does this crew get assigned a varsity game? How does this crew get assigned this quarterfinal game? How does this crew get assigned a championship game? Why doesn't my crew get this? Why doesn't my crew get that? Have you guys heard those questions before? Okay, so they're changing the observation to more of, hey, this is where you're at. This is what you could do to get better. All right, so when we go through the topics, the categories, so to speak, NSAA is giving everybody the average information. Everybody's going to have the average information, all right, given to them on the observation form. Okay, so this is not exactly what it's going to look like on NSAA, but if you're familiar with what we did with baseball, imagine poor, below average, average, above average, excellent, superlative. We have a bunch of categories. Whatever crews have the most points, guess what that says? Playoffs. Champion. we have more data. I'm not going to say they're going to go strictly by a point system. You still have conflicts. You still have what crews worked what teams during the regular season, who has won the semifinals, when are there upsets, and yes, where are the games being played. All right, so there are still a lot of logistics. But what I have been told is they're trying to get more of a data point to really indicate and give crews, hey, this is where your crew is at. Now, that's what I want to focus on. This is where your crew is at. All right, so I hope my crew gets observed this year. And let's just say there's 10 categories, total of 60 points. And if we score 46 points out of 60, the next time we get observed, my goal is to have 48 out of 60. I'm focusing on my crew. All right, so have that mentality of, hey, why did Kyle's crew get this game and not my crew? No, you're wasting your energy. You don't have all the information. Okay, focus on what you have. First category, uniform, physical appearance of the crew. Okay, so this is going to be on the observation form for NSAA. All right, so this is what they're looking for. Uniforms are clean, fit properly, compliant with all NFHS uniform rules. Right? So now, does everybody know what that is? No, you got to get into the official's manual, uniform, and now find more information. All right? And when we get to the end, I'll let you know how I'm going to try to give our crews feedback to get more information outside of the official's manual. Stand tall, professional demeanor. No crossed arms, hands on hips, hands in pockets. All right, so if they see a bunch of officials, hands in pockets, pregame, just standing together and talking, all right, that's probably not going to be good observation. And hopefully whoever's observing you, if they give you a 3 average, they give you information of why you didn't get a 4, why you didn't get a 5, why you didn't get a 6. So you have something tangible to get better at. Okay? So that's category number 1, observation form. Category number 2, pregame duties. Observers do get there typically an hour before kickoff. All right, so those of you who have been observed, they typically get there an hour before kickoff. Guess what they're doing there an hour before kickoff? Guess what's the first thing they do? And who do they talk to? The AD. They talk to the athletic director. Is the crew here? And the AD hopefully says yes. All right? And then they go find a spot in the stands, and then they see when you walk on the field. How many have observations where they're like, you walked on the field at 29:34? Has anyone got that on the... All right. And then it's like you look at your clock, well, shoot, my cell phone, we were 2 minutes early. But the game clock operator, guess what they were going off of? Their wristwatch. That's not connected to any cell tower. All right, so I always tell my crew, we're walking down at 32 minutes. That way when it's 30, we're on. Okay, so there's no clock operator fault there. Inspect the playing field. What are we looking for inspecting playing field? Who has examples of things they had to change or fix? Rod.
I can tell you a true story on this one. It was the first time they had used it at a certain football field, and the PAT line was at the 2 and 3.
And did they tell you why the PAT line was at the 2 instead of the 3?
Because they had a new guy doing the field.
And the diagram he used was an NFL field. So I bet you if you paid attention to the hashes were NFL hashes as well.
They just said he was a new guy.
Yep. So
we just basically got a PAT moving back to 3.
perfect. A lot of times soccer, teams that have soccer, their soccer goals are too close. Or their push sheds, they practice on the varsity field. Their push sheds are too close to the field. Sewers, I've had to cover up sewer holes before. Tom?
Second round playoff game, there were no hash marks.
No hash marks? Okay, so
It was Nebraska City Warriors, they played on Nebraska City's field, just back was grass. And then Nebraska City just checked out, they said, yeah, you can play here, we'll open the door, there were no hash marks.
All right, so now let's talk about that. Are we going to cancel the game because there's no hash marks? No, we're not. Umpires, what are you going to use?
Pylons underneath or on the back end line.
Yep, so pylons and the goalpost. So the pylon is going to be 1-5, goalpost is going to be 2-4, and then obviously the middle of the field will be 3. All right, so there are ways we need now to communicate to coaches, hey, this is what we're going to use on the field to be as consistent as possible. Check players for illegal uniforms and equipment. I put in here, umpire, you approve casts. Umpire approved the cast. All right, so when we're walking around inspecting the field, all right, we want to then ask the coach, hey, bring number 77 with a cast with you at the coaches meeting so the umpire could approve it. Inspect the down indicator and chains. H, meet with the chain crew. All right, so what do we mean by inspect the down indicator and chains? Has anyone experienced anything weird? All right, are the chains 10 yards? What else do we need to check besides chains 10 yards?
Tape line.
Tape line. Okay, so here's some tricks. On usually grass fields, we stretch it out and it's like a half yard short. What could be wrong? The line field could be wrong. All right, so move the chains to another set of 10-yard lines to see if it's really the chains. Okay, so that's one thing that could be wrong is the field painting and actually not the chains. Chains are more important than the field painting. All right, tape. Why do we have tape in the middle? 5-yard penalty. We should not have to measure after a 5-yard penalty. We should know if it's short or not, which we'll get into measurements here in a second. But that's what we're checking. 10 yards, middle, so we know over under 5 yards on a 5-yard penalty. Inspect and improve game balls. Yes, it is plural. They should have 2. Has anyone had experiences where they did not approve of a game ball? All right, Eric, what's your story of a crew not approving of a game ball?
Well, it wasn't one of them that we had checked.
Okay.
Brass inches, graceful.
All right, so here a team brings in a ball that we did not check. Does anyone mark the footballs? All right, so when they bring the footballs, that's one thing I would maybe possibly do. If they only give you one, mark it with your crew's signature, whatever it is. Mark it. So now if a football comes in late in the game for an onside kick, doesn't have the crew mark, send it out. All right? The team could approve as many footballs as they want. The other thing is kicking balls a lot of times. It doesn't have the 2 stripes. That means it's really old and really beat up. All right? No logo, no NFHS logo, all right? Or not enough air. All right, so a couple tips with uniforms and what coaches do later in the game to try to gain an advantage. And if you do that in front of the coach, guess what the coach is going to start saying? Why are you doing that? Oh, during the game we look for this logo, so only these approved balls are used. That sends a message to that coach, okay, right away.
Sean,
Yes.
with the balls, and I've seen this more in the last 4 or 5 years, teams are scoring, wanting to use a different ball for the PAT, or they are attempting a field goal, and all of a sudden they bring out a ball.
I do not have them switch footballs for a PT or field goal score.
I'm just saying, and when we declined it, they let us do it last week.
Yep. So new rule from last year, who can decide to switch footballs? Any official now. What are the reasons to switch out footballs? All right, weather conditions, wet, that's the biggest one. It
Becomes unplayable.
becomes unplayable,
Plating, whatever.
long incomplete pass the other direction, boom, another ball. But we can't switch footballs to give a team an advantage over another team. Okay? Whoa. All right. When duties are completed, observe players during pregame warm-up. Yes, you can take snaps. You can take snaps. So if I have time, usually the teams are gone after the coin toss, but if I have time and people are taking snaps, I am counting 11. I am getting the quarterback's name and number. I am looking how the snapper is snapping the ball. Are they a running team? Are they a passing team? I, as a referee, try to mentally process that. My line of scrimmage officials, I hope they're sliding and gliding. I hope they are picking up their keys. I hope they are watching football out, mentally getting ready to take snaps. You do not have to stand at parade rest at the 50, on the 45-45, and the 40-40 like you had to long time ago. So if the players are out there, be active, engage, get mentally ready. You don't have to stay on the sideline. And then the last one, do not engage in non-essential conversation with players, coaches, spectators, or others. I'm sure Dick Morrissey, every place he goes, he knows at least 70 people. Okay? At least 70 people. Pre-game's not the time to catch up with the 70 people. Okay? After the game, away from the lights and the perception of, man, Dick knows everybody here. We're going to get homered here. And we won't, but that perception is there. That's all they're trying to do, is avoid that perception. They're not saying don't be friends with other people. They're just saying please don't put yourself in a bad situation with perception. So this is, again, all of this is basic. All right, so now what can we do as a varsity crew? Does everyone have a crew card to give a coach? All right, boom, hand that crew card to the coach. And, you know, old days we would write down our names in the locker room, just give it to them. All right, have it purposeful, have it professional. Again, that's a message you could give to a coach. And we already talked about the balls, marking the footballs. I'm telling you, if you mark the footballs in front of the coach with a Sharpie, they're like, dang, this crew's on top of it. And the game hasn't even started. Okay? Yeah, if you pull out a pump, that means Dave Perry taught you. That's if you pull out a pump. Jason.
Was there a rationale for changing from the line judge to the referee inspecting and approving game balls?
No rationale. Yeah. No rationale. By the way, Jason, you could still leave your line judge in charge of it. You could leave your line judge in charge of it.
Unless I'm getting observed.
Yeah. All right, coin toss. All right. 20 minutes prior to kickoff. All right. This is like, don't wait for 20 minutes. They actually want this done by 20 minutes. Anyone know why the mechanic is the way it is? Get it done by 20 minutes? What do the teams want to do? They want to go to the locker room. And when they go to the locker room, they want to know what they're doing to start the game. Okay? So 20 minutes prior to kickoff, 50-yard line, press box side. So don't be this crew in the middle of the field. All right, there's only one time you sort of do a fake coin toss in the middle of the field. That's the state championship. But it's all fake, by the way. They still do the coin toss, 20 minutes press box side for state championship game. Captains back to the respective sidelines. So whoever is press box side, we just have them meet right there at the sideline. The other team, typically the visiting team, but we bring them to the middle of the field and we walk them in. All right, we walk one team to the other sideline. Referee and umpire face each other. Rest of the crew stand behind the umpire. And then referee faces press box to signal results. All right, so if this is press box, I have one team lined up here. I have one team lined up here. I am facing my umpire. All right, heads or tails, they choose heads. The call is heads. You won the coin toss. What would you like to do? I'd like to defer to the second half. I am now going to tap that shoulder, defer to the second half. Now I'm going to go to the team that lost. Do you want the football? I want to give you the football. Yes, we want the football. Excellent. What end zone do you want to defend? I want to defend the north. Sweet. Swing around, swing around. I then tap again. This team, defer. This team, receive. Why do I do that defer a second time? Anyone know why we want to do it a second time? What if they only saw me do it one time and one time only? They didn't see the defer. So that's why you do it twice. This team, defer, get the other option, boom. Then you do the final presentation. This team, defer, this team, receive. So no matter when they are watching, they're getting the information correct. Okay? So that is the importance of the coin toss. There are reasons behind it of exactly why that mechanics manual is the way it is. All right? And it's to prevent the calls of Nate Newhouse. All right? The best call is the no call. Follow the coin toss mechanics in here to do that. All right, measuring first downs. Do not measure. You don't have to worry about it. All right.
You made us measure like every
I know.
game, my first.
All right. Because we needed practice. All right, so I did leave this in here. We do have the unwritten rule, right? Unwritten rule, if we could get through a situation without measuring, let's do it. Because of the reasons we've already stated, we don't know which lines on a grass field are marked perfectly. We don't. We know the chains are 10 yards. We don't know in high school the volunteer chain crew, did they set up properly? Did they clip it on the field? Did they clip it off the field? It's as always comes down to inches, but there's so many variables that it could be inches off as well. Okay, so when are good times to measure? When do you think good times to measure are? Late in the game, 2-possession ball game, the time is running down. That's a good time to measure. Yeah, critical situation. I call it entertainment value situation. All right, because in those moments, if a coach requests a measurement, which by rule they can, and we say no, and then they go for it and they miss it, guess what's going to happen? A call to Nate Newhouse. I requested a measurement. It was under a yard away. And by rule, a coach can request a measurement. All right, you can't say no. It's a critical time in the game. Now, if that's first quarter, you say, no, coach, we're a half yard short. We know it. It's a turf field. We know it. Is a coach going to call Nate because you didn't offer a measurement in the first quarter? No. No. Okay? Now, if you want to measure, go for it. I'm not saying don't measure. I'm just saying understand if the situation calls for a measurement, please do it. Please do it. Doesn't say. Yeah, and that's agreed. All right? They are buying a quote-unquote timeout when they request it. All right, so that's why you sort of want to use referee's discretion. Use it when we need to use it. So referee, what do? We signal to the linesman, referee timeout, bring out the chains. All right, that's our pageantry that we're bringing out the chains. Umpire, when the chains come out, you're taking the forward stick. Do not pull the forward stick until the linesman has their foot on the chain. All right, so you don't want the chain to be pulled really, really tight. Oh my God, it looks like it's short of a first down. Whoa, my hand wasn't even on the chain. Now you have to redo it. Okay? Line judge, you're indicating the intersection of the 5-yard line where the chain is clipped. What does that mean? All right, so the football could be in the side zone, off the hash. So you have to line up where this chain mark is, and it's in a straight line of football, so it's not a diagonal to the football. Because we all know a diagonal is longer than a straight line, right? So we want to avoid that inch game in the perception, because bigger the moments, more cameras looking straight down that line you're going to have. Okay? And then back judge clear players from the measurement area, and then 10 ball at the time of measurement. So that's a back judge's hand. There's no hand on that one. All right, so if this is the line to gain, back judges, your butt should be to the side of the end zone they're going to. All right, so the ball is going this way. All right, since the ball is going that way, we have short. All right, we're short of the line to gain. All right, you want to have the camera in the press box to see the football and the chains. So back judge, don't get in the way. All right. Practices as a crew. If you have not practiced measurements, this is a good thing to practice during the scrimmage, August 22nd.
John,
Okay.
if you're in a side zone and you're short, use the chain to place the ball and bring it back into a hash mark.
Yep, so what Tom is talking about there, we're short here. So as a referee, I am picking up this chain right there. I'm walking it to position 5 or position 1. I'm placing the chain. I'm having them pull the chain, and then I'm placing the football. All right, so that we know where we measured it in the side zone is exactly the same. All right, so things in blue, we'll call this blue, are things that I added, and you will not see on the observation form, but it's acceptable. Okay? So I'm not going to read through all this, but I want you to look at your position only, and if something on here doesn't make sense, let's ask the question now. Any questions by position of what observers are looking for? Umpire, who is brave? Why is it 5 to 10 yards? Why do they give you that threshold? Okay, they want to give you mobility to avoid linebackers is one reason. What's the second reason? They don't run plays off of you. All right, so if you set up in the same spot every single time, eventually they're going to run that pattern so the tight end goes 1 yard short of you. So guess where the defensive player goes? Into you. All right, so if you change, they don't know where you're changing to. All right, then the other thing, 3 things actually. You don't want to be on the line to gain line, and you don't want to be on the goal line. Because guess where they're trying to get to? Your line. All right, so it's 5 to 10 to keep the umpire safe. The reason I put this suggestion in, and it's acceptable, is when you're on your sideline, who do you have direct communication with? Your coach. All right, so if both line judge linesmen are only counting team B, all right, there's only one team that really has the advantage every single time. Whereas if you split this, you count your sidelines team, all right? Because it is acceptable. If you have 10 players, you could tell coach, count your players. Because what are you allowing your coach to do on your sideline? All right, hey, oh shoot, we have 10. Hurry up, get in there. All right, don't tell them they have 12. Don't tell them they have 10. Because what if you're wrong? All right. All right, yes. Only tell a coach, count your players. You're right there. You could help him. All right, that's why I suggest that. He goes, yep, that's acceptable. That makes sense. As long as both are counting. We need one of them confirming with the back judge 11 players. Somebody has to confirm with the back judge 11 players. All right, because can the back judge be wrong? All right. Somebody has to count with the back judge.
And that's why he got promoted.
Yeah. All right. And apologize for So scrimmage plays, coverage, again, we're not going to go through every single one. Read your position, because if you have questions on your position, let's ask them here before you go and get observed. Who here does not know the term snap, tackle, key, or snap, key, zone? All right, so Noah and David, perfect. Sweet. Name you? Demia, perfect. All right, so snap. We all have responsibilities at the snap. All right, so what an observer is going to be looking at for a referee, am I watching the quarterback? My eyes should be on the quarterback for the head bob. That's my job. Okay? Back judges. Back judges should be doing play clock. So they're looking for the 10. They're looking for the 5. So snap is our pre-snap responsibilities. That's what they're looking for. Tackle. Line of scrimmage and referees. Why are we looking at the tackle first? Tells us what type of play it is. Pass, run. If they drop backwards like this, what type of play is it? Pass. If they charge forward, what type of play is it? Run. All right, so now that takes us next to our key or zone. If it's a run play and I have a pulling guard as a referee, where should my eyes go? Front side, pulling guard. All right, so people talk about bills of your cap. Where your bills of your cap is, that's how observers know where you're looking. They just look at the bills of your cap. Okay, so that's what they're looking for when we talk about snap, tackle, key. Quarterback, tackle, pass, I'm back to my quarterback. And it takes about 2 seconds for him to get sacked. All right, that's what they're looking for. Back judge, zone. All right, yes, you do start with a key, but then once the receivers spread out, now you got a zone. You got to have that gut feeling of where is the quarterback looking? Where's the potential pick play? All right. So that's snap, tackle, key. So the additional blues. Chest to ball carrier and turn. This scares the heck out of me, the slide. Because if I'm an umpire, if I slide to my right, there's a 50-50 chance the ball carrier is going to cut to his left and we're going to go. I've yet to see a ball carrier take a look at an umpire, lower their head, and keep going forward. So with knowing that, I'm all about stay, turn. All right? Don't slide to a side, umpires. So that's why I put chest to ball carrier and then turn, get skinny. Because like I said, I've never seen a ball carrier go straight through an umpire. I've always seen them cut left or right. All right. I have seen safeties hit umpires. All right. And I would rather get hit on the side than straight in the back or straight in the front. Umpires, any other advice there of ball carriers coming at you and safeties coming behind you?
Well, the sliding it's always the backers that get you, not the ball carriers.
Don't slide. Do not slide. Don't move.
Yeah. So, brace for it. Ooh, I forgot this last one. Back judges. Anything, so they said along the sideline. I said anything outside the numbers. Anything outside the numbers. I call it let the dog eat. All right? If you're a back judge, especially with the game, there's a bunch of running, it's easy to check out. It's really easy to check out. But now, if you're in charge of ball relays, now you stay engaged. Number one. Number two, when it does go outside the numbers, when it does go near the sidelines, now what do we have? What do we have potential of? Do we have potential of the bench? All right. So now, I've been in situations that is line of scrimmage. We have a little tussle. Now we have bench personnel. Now we have opponents talking smack. What am I going to pay attention to? The smack or the spot? Yeah, I'm probably going to pay attention to unsportsmanlike behavior. So now I'm talking this, now I lose the spot. Whereas if I have the back judge always coming, I always now have another official who could help me with unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, so that's another reason to have a good habit, back judges. Go help every single time it goes outside the numbers. And officials, please reward them. They love touching the football. They love it. So let them touch the football. All right, let them touch the football. New play. New play this year. All right? We have a regular free kick. All right, so they're just going to kick it deep. I know our crew did it on a couple of the Omaha Nations games last year. We loved it. All right? Line judge, and head linesman, you are all starting on the goal line. So you do not have to look at the football. You do not have to run backwards. You do not have to backpedal and run over a camera person. All right? We are all three starting on the goal line. That's where all three of us are starting. Touchbacks, thirds. So line judge, you have touchbacks in your third. Referees, you have touchbacks in the middle. Linesmen, you got touchbacks in your third. It's really easy to go third. Hash mark, hash mark, hash mark. Okay, so touchbacks will be a three-way responsibility. Why do you think they don't want three officials officiating a touchback? You got 22 other players coming down the field. All right, so again, build of your cap. If you're a line judge, don't be looking at the linesman touchback. You need to be looking downfield and how are the players engaging and blocking. Okay? Umpire back judge. Line of demarcation right now, right this second, line of demarcation is the 35-yard line. If that ball is kicked in the air beyond the 35-yard line, you are coming inside the numbers. All right? We'll see how the season starts. Does that give, like if the 35-yard line is where they catch it and advance it, does that give the umpire and back judge enough time to get there, get set, avoid being in the middle of a play? But we are going with 35-yard line. Ball is in the air, goes beyond the 35-yard line in the air. Back judge and umpire coming onto the field of play. Who's in charge of touchdowns? Back judge and back judge only. That is a very huge hole in this new mechanic, but how many touchbacks are returned for a touchdown versus kick out of bounds, touchbacks, and tackles and touches of the football near the goal line. So that's what they're protecting. They're protecting this goal line with three officials instead of that goal line, and we're one official.
So Sean, that instance for back judges, wants to stay in our third if they return to goal line, or wants to come to the middle?
So good question. So the question was, here they are running it down this sideline. I would try to angle as much as you could angle.
Umpire shouldn't mark that at all.
Umpire does not have goal line. All right, so back judge is in here. If you have not started sprinting yet, if you have an 8-man game, back judges, might be a lot of sprinting for you. All right, you have goal line. Back judge has goal line. Okay, question, Jesse. What prompted this? The referee having all touchbacks and the referee missing a lot of stuff in the middle of the field. Could be a fair catch signal. A lot of stuff was missed in the middle of the field. The second thing, the officials that started the 20-yard line and 30-yard line, the first thing they did when the ball was kicked deep was stop officiating football players. They started looking at the football and they started moving backwards. So now all three officials are set. They stay set. Everything is coming at them. They're not trying to get behind it. So the idea is we're not going to miss illegal blocks. We're not going to miss blocks below the waist, blocks away from the ball because everything is in front of us. That's what brought it.
If I have a foul on the 30 and I'm on the goal line, am I hucking that flag as hard as I can down to the 30?
Is it a kick out of bounds or is it?
Just a regular infraction on an illegal block, whatever.
So if it's a 30-yard line, illegal block, yeah. Long toss, yeah, you don't want to throw that one. You want to throw that one. Eric,
How does that change responsibility for, I guess, everybody in that circumstance has, fair catch?
everybody has fair catch. If you see a fair catch signal and that team catches it, anybody could blow it dead. Right? Everybody has fair catch signal. Hopefully the official in the area where the fair catch signal comes is the one that sees it the best.
Who's got pop-up kicks?
Illegal pop-up kicks will still be back judge. Back judge will have illegal pop-up kicks. Referee has legal formation. Back judge will have, are they within the restraining line? So back judge pop-up kicks, back judge restraining line, referee formation, that hasn't changed. Question?
Yeah, if we know it's a short kick and returns are running up, can we run up with them right away?
Are we talking about like a pooch kick or an onside kick?
It's going to land at like the 10 or the 15 and we're the line judge of the line.
Yes. Yeah, so you know it's the goal line's not threatened, correct? Yes. Move up. Okay. Referee, you have the goal line in that. Don't leave the goal line until they possess the ball.
How about an obvious onside situation?
Great transition. I love it.
Sean, before you go to that,
Yep.
where are the linesmen lining up? Are they on the sideline or are they off the sideline?
So the linesman and line judge are 2 yards off the sideline. And I am going to, I know the ones, I'm going to make this my pylon. If this is my pylon and this is the goal line, I am 45-degree angle on the pylon. All right, the reason I'm for it, this is the goal line. If the ball goes over my right shoulder, now we have a kick out of bounds. If it goes over my left shoulder, I have a touchback. All right, so that's why you find your pylon, you're 2 yards off, you're going on a diagonal across the field. So if it's bouncing, right shoulder, kick out of bounds, left shoulder, touchback. When we have practices outside, make sure we cover that again. That's a great, when we go to Millard South NHSOA clinic, we definitely should have a pylon out there to teach that and show that.
So you're saying, those two corner guys, they're gonna be slightly behind goal line at time?
So they're even with the goal line, but they're turned. They're not looking down the goal line. They're not looking down the sideline. They're looking 45 degrees in between goal line and sideline. But they're even with the goal line. All right, onside. All right, back judge, you still have kicker's line. Umpires, you are moving up to the kicker's line. All right, so back judge and umpires, you now both have that glass plane. You both now have making sure all kickers do not go beyond the 5-yard restraining line. All right, referee way in the back, laughing at you guys. Ha ha. All right, they will have the formation. They will make sure they have at least 4 on either side of the kicker. Line judge and head linesman, you're at the receiver's restraining line. When we are on an onside kick situation, it's great to talk to each other. If the ball is coming towards you, so the ball's coming this way, back judge, head linesman, you have the touch of the ball. Who touches it first and where did they touch it? Because depending on who touches it first is going to determine do we start the clock or not right away. And where did they touch it is going to determine if it is first touching or not. All right? If the ball is going away from you, you have blocks all the way across the field. all the way across the field. Because when can the kickers legally block? When the ball goes past 10 yards. So when the ball is coming here, linesman, back judge has the ball, line judge, umpire, you got to watch the blockers all the way across. And then you go vice versa. And if they kick it right down the middle, good luck. All right, we don't have a center judge yet in high school football. All right, so piece it together. If it truly is kicked right down the middle, you just got to get together as a crew, piece it together, who saw what. And let's do the best we possibly can. What makes onside kicks so hard is actually we don't have a lot of practice at them. At the end of the day, we don't have a lot of practice at onside kicks because teams don't practice it in scrimmages. Hardly ever do they do it in a game unless they have to. And we might do 3 in a whole entire season. So the best way to get better at onside kicks is watch onside kicks. Like find film of it. Yes, it might be only 5 plays, but rewatch those 5 plays over and over and over again. And people, they still have it in here. All officials, hand overhead to signal when ready. All officials have bag in the hand. Why do we do that in Federation High School? What are we telling ourselves? Every kick is what? Onside kick. That's why they're not going to change that mechanic. We are reminding ourselves, every kick is an onside kick. I have the beanbag in my hand, so I'm ready to throw it for first touching. Okay, so that's why the mechanic is the way it is. Any questions on this new play? Cool. Punt. Again, I'm going to let you read your position, and then you let me know if you have any questions. All right, so last night I met with my varsity crew, and I asked my umpire, what do you think about 4 to 7 yards versus 5 to 10 yards? He goes, are you criticizing me? Am I doing it wrong? I said, no. I'm just asking, what would you prefer, 4 to 7 or 5 to 10? He goes, I don't know. You tell me where to stand, and I'll stand there. I said, all right. So I said, if it's 4th down and 1, and they're in a scrimmage kick formation, do you want to be 4 yards or 5 yards? He goes, well, I want to be a little bit farther back. I go, yeah, exactly. So it does matter to you. So I asked Nate, can it be 5 to 10? All right? Because if it's a potential, a highly likely fake punt, all right, so it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and they're between the 40s. All right? I like, as an umpire, they're going to be running up the middle. I don't want to be close. And at the snap, I don't want to be walking forward. Now I could get in the middle of a big melee if they fake it. All right? So I said, would you be okay if they're 5 yards, if it's a potential fake situation, and 10 yards if it's an easy punt situation? Because if it's an easy punt situation, what the heck is that snapper doing immediately most of the time? Sprinting. Automatically. So now let's get that umpire back 10 yards because most likely they're not going to fake it and we don't need him to come up for illegal forward pass, ineligible lineman downfield, and all those fun things on a pass play. So umpires, in your mind, the reason why they do give you a little bit more leeway again on punt plays, if it's a potential fake, we do need you to come up because you need to help the line of scrimmage on illegal forward passes and an ineligible lineman. Because we're losing a line of scrimmage official. And that's where I have the blue here. When you're a line judge and you go, don't officiate the wall. We do that in basketball all the time. People just turn, burn, and look at the wall. The wall won't foul. I promise you. All right, so when you turn, your head should be on the inside part of the field so you know what the players are doing. You could read fake punt. You could read deep punt. You could read punt is coming to your side. You could read the punt is going away. Who's going to tell you where the punt's going? The players. The players are going to tell you. They run to the football. I promise you, every single time they run to the football. All right, so officiate the players. They will let you know where it's at. And then the big one. Until the kick crosses, remains beyond. All right, I've been in a bad situation before where it's a short kick, ball went across the line of scrimmage, so I'm going downfield, cool, hits, bounces back 10 yards. Oh, shoot. Did he get behind the line of scrimmage? I don't know, I wasn't there. All right, so I put in there H's, linesman, on a short kick. There's really no reason for you to hustle down on a 5 or 10 yard kick because there's always a chance it could bounce back. And if it bounces back and nobody touches it, who could pick it up? Anybody. And who could advance it? Not anybody can. Actually, yeah. Anybody can because now the offense could advance it because it's behind the line of scrimmage, and the receiver's defense can pick it up and advance it too. All right, so you don't want to give up that line of scrimmage until you definitely know there's no way whatsoever it's going to come back.
Last year I had it happen to me 3 times.
This is not in the observation. Back judges do not have the whistle in your mouth. Because what happens if you have the whistle in your mouth? What could happen? Okay, inadvertent whistle, you could blow it. If the whistle is not in your mouth, you're not going to be able to blow the whistle. All right, so keep it out of your mouth. That did not make the observation form. Again, that's the next step. Nothing has changed here. PAT field goal. Go ahead, read your position. And truly, honestly, if there's any questions, please ask. Go ahead, Jason. Okay, go for it.
You got the referee both 2 to 3 yards behind and 3 to 5 yards behind.
Oh, should be wide.
Right.
Okay. I'm not gonna even change this PowerPoint right now. PAT wide versus behind. And by the way, we should be 3 to 5 wide, 2 to 3 behind. So referees. It's a tight end position. Yep. Okay, so I'll send that in. Sweet. All right, so the biggest thing that does come up, PATs, and I've had it happen to my crews a couple times, where the incorrect official goes underneath the upright. All right, so what are things crews do to communicate to their line of scrimmage officials of who should go underneath the upright? Because it says here, if it's let's say the field goal is this way, I have a lefty kicker, I'm coming this way. If I have a righty kicker, I'm coming this way, and whoever's to my back as a referee's going underneath the field goal post. So Eric, what do you plan on doing with your crew this year?
Well, pregame, we always identify what teams, what leg the kicker is. Either pregame, as a back judge, I would always be paying attention to it because I need to know who my partner is. So I guess that was just always an overload thing.
Yep.
You know, John or Bryce.
So official to official. All right, so I rely on my umpire. Like and it's the lefties. If I have a lefty kicker on a team, I need my umpire to remind me, Sean, lefty kicker. All right? 0-2-0, lefty kicker. Another thing is, are they going to kick a field goal or are they not going to kick a field goal? 0-2-0, kickers coming on the field. Kicking tee on the field. That's the first thing I look for as a referee. We have a kicking tee on the field. Because by the time we recognize the kicker's running off the sideline, the kicking tee is coming off the sideline, it now gives our officiating crew time to communicate and adjust. All right, so back judge communicate, left-footed, right-footed. Umpire communicate, left-footed, right-footed. And as soon as we see that kicking team and or kicking player coming onto the field, let's communicate as a crew. Kicking team, kicking player, left-footed, right-footed, and now we could adjust.
The umpire can help you with that too. Stay over the ball until we're ready.
And that's the last itch effort right there. If we are out of position and the clock is not running, do not blow that ball ready for play. All right, we could always pump up to 40 seconds if the game clock is stopped. Let's get us in position to officiate the play as well as we possibly can. But the last thing you want is the referee and that line of scrimmage official to be in their position and they run a fake to that pylon. It's a really, really bad spot to be in. All right, so that's what you want to avoid. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Goal line play, again, nothing has changed. All right, so what they're going to be observing, ball snap between the 10 and 5. Are the linemen getting ahead of the ball? Touchdown we do not mirror touchdowns. Only the official that sees the ball that crosses the goal line will go up. And then the ball snapped inside team A or TB 5-yard line, H and L immediately go. Either way. All right, so like this play, they're actually going in. Red is going in. But let's say it's reversed. Let's say it's the white team's ball. If they're inside the 5-yard line, both H and L go backwards to officiate safety. All right? That's what they're looking for there. And as we go to the goal line, get deeper. All right, so again, this is the foundation. If you get to the goal line, get deeper. Why do you want to be deep as a line of scrimmage official on a touchdown play? Diving for the pylon. If you are at the pylon and they dive at the pylon, guess what you're doing as an official? You're getting out of the way and protecting yourself. Well, if you're already 5 yards back, and yes, I'm not kidding you, 5 yards back, there's no reason to move. Okay? Now, pre-snap, guess who else wants to be 5 yards back from that pylon? Cameras, photographers, statisticians. So before the snap, you got to get them back. Hey, I'm going right where you're standing, and I don't want to run you over. Please get back.
Chain crew, jump marker guy.
Yep. They could get back even more. JD.
Pre-game too, I always look at those tents, that you can see that tent there, that's tripped over. Guy moved that, throw the
So yard markers,
throw the stands.
I put them on the track. Literally. I put them on the track. They have these on every single field now. Okay? All right, administering penalties. Woo! Now, we said it yesterday, there's always more than one way to officiate a sport. So we know what the mechanics manual says. I'm interested to see what you guys are doing because I think we're all doing it differently. One of the ways that we're doing is the umpire just goes and puts the ball down. Don't do that. All right, don't do that. Don't have one person administering a penalty. How many people have how many people have the head linesman and umpire walk at the same time? Raise your hand if your umpire and head linesman walk at the same time. Okay. How many crews have the head linesman go, then the umpire go, and then the line judge go? Does anybody go 1, 2, 3? Okay, so that is sort of what we are talking about here with the bunch of blues. The main thing that NSA observers are asking, all right, linesman, linesman, you are going with the umpire at the same time or just a step ahead of the umpire. Line judge, you're holding the enforcement spot. Why is that line judge holding the enforcement spot? Exactly. Just in case we get it wrong, and just in case the chain crew moves. Because now, true story, 5-yard face mask was called, gave it a first down, chain crew moved, but it turned into a 15-yard face mask. Okay? No, vice versa. It was vice versa. It was a 15-yard face mask enforced, which resulted in a first down. But then the calling official says, no, it wasn't a 15-yard face mask, it was a 5-yard face mask. Well, everything was moved and we lost the enforcement spot. Okay, so line judge, hold that enforcement spot. Yes, umpire, head linesman looks good, sweet. Line judge now move, match up. And when I say match up, don't look at them and just go where they are. Like legit walk off 5, 10, 15, make sure they're right. What should be the last thing that moves? Sticks. The line to gain and box should be the last thing that moves. All right? And I promise you, referees, don't float in ready for play until the sticks and chains are set. We don't have to be in a hurry. If we take 30 more seconds on I say convoluted, a difficult measure or distance penalty, it's going to save you five minutes to try to correct it on the field, and it'll save a phone call if it changes whose ball is it on a 4th down. Okay, so take that extra 30 seconds. This is hard, again, as a crew, this is hard to see what you're doing because on huddle film, how many times do they show measurements and marking it off? Okay, so if anybody has a girlfriend, anybody has a wife, anybody has a boyfriend, anybody has a friend who wants to get in officiating, have them record your whole game without stopping the film. Then you'll get all this stuff. We call it the all 22 at the college level. You'd be surprised when you talk about appearance and presence and how you hold yourself as an official. When an observer is watching you or your crew work, do their eyes ever turn off? Unless they fall asleep, all right? But they're always watching you. What you see on huddle are clips. It's not all of the game. So if you are looking to be a state championship football crew, ball mechanics are not on huddle. How are we standing during timeout procedures? Are we writing down on our game cards that there was a timeout? Are we writing down the time? Are the officials getting together? This is an injury timeout. Right? There are still things we need to do during an injury timeout. Right? This is another thing, all 22. Observers are watching us during timeout procedures. Because in important games, if one sideline is enforcing rules and the other sideline is not enforcing rules, guess what we're going to have? We're going to have a problem. Why are you telling us to get inside the 25 when they're not? They're at the 15-yard line. Why do we have to run 10 more yards? Right? Yes, coaches will say that. They have said that. Okay? Again, nothing new here, but observers are going to be watching us. What are we doing during timeout procedures? Between periods procedures, all right, referee and umpire, down, first down, and 10. 33-yard line, we're going from position 1, which is press box side, to position 5, opposite press box. And then they even put in here, umpire, quickly take the ball to the corresponding point on the other half of the field in reverse directions. Because they have found umpires are just going like that. Right? They're looking for athletic ability. All right? That very first thing, appearance. So that umpire, you get the information, jog to the next spot.
60 seconds.
60, yes, less than 60 seconds. All right, we need ready for play in 60 seconds. That's the other thing. Observers, a lot of them, they have either stopwatches or wristwatches. When the period is over, that is the end of the first quarter. After the signal, boom, they start it. And then all of a sudden, dang, that took 2 minutes. All right, that's the kind of stuff I hope they start putting on observations. All right, we can't have 2 minutes in between periods. Eric.
Communication with the L on that, is that O2O, or do you want the L run in, or does it not matter as long as
So observe team on your sideline, the line judge?
No, just with the position of the ball. Referee communicate with umpire line.
Oh, O2O. 100%, yeah. So once I confirm with the umpire as a referee, umpire takes off. I'm getting on my O2O 33-yard line, 1st and 10, position 5. Yep. Next part, between halves. And the only reason why it was all blue, because it was blank for me. They're like, what do you do? What do you do once the half is over? All right, so pregame with coaches. If they are leaving the field, you need to know where are they leaving the field. Because at Burke Stadium, if you worked at Burke Stadium, guess where both locker rooms are? Up the hill. Guess where both teams go? Same spot up the hill.
Same thing here.
All right? So we are going to communicate with coaches. All right, coaches, whoever's opposite press box, you go first. We get 2 or 3 officials in between. Then the next team goes up. Now I, as a referee, when I see majority of both teams up the hill, now I'm going to wind the clock. All right? I'm not going to give one team an advantage to get to the locker room before the other team. I want both teams in the locker room, then we'll wind the clock. All right. Once team leaves the stadium, referees start the clock. All officials back on the field, 2 minutes remaining at halftime. All right, so ideal situation, we love it when we come down. If both teams are on the field, sweet, life is good. All right. If we are missing a team, we now have 2 minutes to let that team know, hey, you got to get down to the field by the time that clock reaches 0. Because if they don't, what happens? All right, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct. They have to be down there for the 3-minute warm-up. Us getting on the field 2 minutes gives us that wiggle room to prevent that foul. Don't assume the assistant coaches are going to tell the coach, hey, we got 5 minutes left, we got to go. All right, let's help the teams. Let's see here. Cool.
Keep track of time even if you're talking with observers.
Yes.
That happened to us like 4 years ago.
And they put it on your report that you were late? Controlling the sidelines. Again, this was blank because it was, I don't think this is in the manual, controlling the sidelines. So line of scrimmage after each play according into the field of play. So how many people see signal colors? They step on the field, they do their signals, and then they step off the field. Have you guys seen that in football lately? So if we accordion on the field, guess what? We don't see those signal colors. I'm going to let them do that for the first 10 to 15 seconds. I don't care. I'm dead ball officiating. I'm communicating with my umpire to make sure the ball's spotted on the right position and all that good stuff. Now, once the ball is placed, 10 to 12 seconds, once the ball is placed, line of scrimmage officials, now you're going back to the sideline. Now, what's that going to do with the signal colors? They're going to get them off the field, going to get them back on the sideline. Snap is imminent. This is personal preference. But I suggest, all right, I walk back, sideline, snap is imminent, I'm taking another step back. Because now, guess what that does to the coaches? They get back. And once a coach backs up and hits a player, guess what the coach does? Get back! All right? So if you want to avoid all that sideline interference, sideline warning stuff, I would work 1 yard off the field, if not 2. The times I work 2 yards off the field is when I'm outside the team area. Outside the team area, I'm 2 yards off. Inside the team area, I'm usually 1 yard off. This is a baseball thing. During the play, if team personnel is on in the officials' working area, look at them. So this is pre-snap. When I say pre-snap, look at them like, get behind me, please. Warn them, and then enforce. All right, so when we say warn, we're not even talking about throwing a flag yet. All right, we're looking at them. Coach, back up, coach, please back up. Now the play goes, and he didn't back up. Coach, I really need you to get back. Hey, who's my get back coach? Hey, Bill, get back coach. Get your assistant coach back. Now, if that doesn't work, now throw the flag for that sideline warning. The more you work with them and tell them, and then you throw the flag, guess what the head coach is going to eventually say? Yeah, that's on us. They told you to get back. They told you to get back twice. He looked at you, he yelled at the get back coach, and you still didn't do it. Instead of the first play of the game, now how does that whole entire team and coaching staff think of you as an official? Oh no, it's going to be a long night. All right? Especially when we don't switch sidelines in high school. All right, so really that is the best way to control the sideline. If you keep coaches back, they typically aren't going to be coming up and yelling at you. If you let the coaches do whatever they want to do on the sideline and break rules, now they keep on escalating. All right, so sideline control, if you keep them in their position, they typically keep the unsporting behavior down. Knowledge, application of rules and mechanics. They're going to be looking at proper use of signals, correct penalty yardage and spots, correct use of beanbag, proper coverage areas, consistent foul threshold. Does that tell you anything, what they're looking for as an official? Nothing. And I said, Nate, I'm like, so these observers, what are they going to use? Well, they told the observers what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out which officials, which crews are getting in these books. Okay? They expect us to use the beanbag. They're not going to put it on the observation how. They want us to get in the mechanics manual of how to use the beanbag. All right, so take that time as a crew and get into those books. Take that time as a crew. If we threw a beanbag on a muffed snap, is that a proper use of a beanbag? No, it is not. A muffed snap is not a fumble. It's a muffed snap. There is no penalty enforcement spot on that. All right, so that is something that would stick out to an observer. Okay? If the beanbag as a back judge was tossed at the 1 yard line, but it wound up being a touchback, is that the proper use of a beanbag? No, there wasn't. All right. If it's a touchback, you throw the beanbag into the end zone. Okay. And we talk about consistent foul threshold, and this is why Nate is going to continue doing the NSAA, NHSOA training tapes on our YouTube channel and send it out. They want to get better consistently across the state of what has to be called and what doesn't have to be called. So let's see if you guys remember what Nate says about when it comes to targeting, when in doubt, it is a foul. When it comes to an ejection, when in doubt, it is not an ejection. Okay? So that's the kind of stuff they're looking for. All right, so if your crew has 5 ejections in 1 year, whoa. All right, something's wrong there. Okay? So that's what we're talking about, consistent foul threshold. Game management. All right, remain calm and confident. Controlled, clear mechanics. Dead ball officiating will be big. Communication with players and coaches, firm but fair. We don't want to be yelling at coaches. Consistent tempo. Umpires, they're going to be looking for that consistent 10 to 12 seconds. So we don't want to put it down fast every single time, but we don't want to put it down 20 seconds after the ball is over. Consistent tempo. And then control of the game. Preventing, de-escalating, communicating warnings to captains and coaches. Right? You'd be surprised how many times Nate has been called because coaches are like, if my player is doing unsporting stuff in the field of play and you only tell that player and you don't tell the head coach, will a player really change their behavior? No. But if a player is acting unsporting, close to a UNS, and you go to that head coach and say, Coach, 66 is on the threshold. He's about to do something really bad for your team. 66, get out of here. Now you just solved the problem. Okay? Thank you for letting me know we talked him down and we're going to get him back in the game when he settles down. We just prevented a 15-yard. Instead of flag, well, Coach, the umpire told 66 to stop. He goes, 66 won't listen to anybody except me. You got to let me know. That's what we're talking about, control of the game. All right, that's an example. Get the coaches involved. They will have more control over the kids than you. All right? All right, so here is my plan, and I'm going to show you an example here before we end the meeting. So PSOA Varsity Observation Program, huddle film. So I did a phenomenal job in the beginning of the season, and I sort of fell off at the end because my goal is actually watch each crew twice. I watched every crew one time at the beginning of the season. I did not get to all crews a second time. But what I want to try to do is find 10 to 20 clips and send those clips specifically to the crew. All right, so that's my goal as an observer. Using these slides that we just talked about, I want you guys to get feedback from myself. So you guys, if you have not found it in the mechanics manual, if you have not found it in the case book, not that, or if you have not found it in the officials manual. So this is PSOA crew number 10, week number 1. Is anybody crew number 10 here? This is not to embarrass anybody, because I just literally randomly picked this game when I saw PSOA crew number 10. All right, so what I'm going to try to do is find 10 to 20 clips. All right, initial direction backwards. Let's see what I observed here. And it skipped over that comment. Skipped over that comment again. There it is. So inside the 10-yard line, head linesmen get ahead of the play. When there's line to gain, get there first at the snap. All right? We didn't hear that mechanic in this, did we? All we saw in the presentation was, hey, if you're snapped inside the 10 to 5, get ahead of the play. Now we have another exception. If there's a line to gain, get to the line to gain. All right? Not just only get to the ahead of the play, but get to the line to gain stick. So we did a good job of getting ahead on the snap, but we should have got all the way to that line to gain stick. All right, so that is my goal, and this is way too far on the field. All right, when we were talking about signal callers, we're going to let the head coaches get out a little bit. Head coaches can't get out that far. All right, that's too far. So this is what I am going to do for our varsity crews. I am going to try to be that observer in the stands. And my goal is you guys get the information before you're observed, so when you are observed, you already get that second level of information. All right, so that's my goal. So crew chiefs in the room, what do you think you can do for your crew every single week? All right, you be the observer for your crew every single week. And then as you get going in the season, now delegate, right? Switch it up. Hey, this week, umpire, you watch this game. Or split it up between 4 officials. 120 clips divided by 4 is 40 clips per official. Hey guys, you break down 40 clips, and then we'll have a crew Zoom on Wednesday or Thursday and talk about 5 clips. All right? Be your own observer. Don't wait to be observed. All right? Be your own observer. All right. It is 7:30, and that was the last slide. All right, so when it comes to varsity team practice, everyone have clear vision of what I, as a coach for you, are looking for to get ready for a Friday night game. Who should you listen to as a crewmate? Jesse, who should you listen to?
Who do I listen to?
Yes.
My fellow crewmen.
Yeah, your referee. First and foremost, your referee. All right. Everyone sort of see the potential new vision of what NSA is trying to do with their observation program. Turn the checklist into they're trying to separate who knows officials manual, and it's okay if you don't, but they should now start providing more information what you could do to get better. Okay? And then my observation goal is I want to be every crew's observer definitely once. My goal is twice in a season. And then do something for your crew as a varsity crew. Observe yourself. Observe yourself. Get your teammates better. Keep yourself out of trouble and keep yourself from having calls on your crew that are bad, and having calls on your crew, have them be great calls. Have them be great calls. Any questions right now on this information? All right, I am going to end the meeting online, so people who are online,